Hi everyone, welcome back to YouTube Psych Myths, the channel you either love or hate, or somewhere in between. I want to give a special thank you to all my subscribers, everybody that's been here from the start, and everybody that's joining now. I really appreciate it. Today's video is going to be the part 2 follow-up to my first DissociaDID Draws video. I'm posting this much later than I anticipated, so I apologize for that. I wish I had a community tab so I could keep you guys updated. There was a lot to dive into with this post and some of the comments that DissociaDID responded to. So it's a pretty long video. I'm going to leave timestamps in the description box like I did last time. But I'm also thinking about making a bonus video with all the things I couldn't fit into this video, just because I didn't have enough memory on my phone to do so. So let me know if you guys want to see a part 2.5. I know I have all DissociaDID content, but I never planned on my channel actually becoming a channel, so I know I'm gonna have to branch off eventually. So also let me know what you guys want to see aside from DissociaDID content. I also want to tell the people who are DissociaDID supporters who come here to leave comments for me or to dislike the video that you're really not going to like this video. You can definitely hear in my tone the way that I feel about this whole situation, which is not good. So, just a warning in advance, you're probably not going to like this one. I want to remind everybody that there is a difference between criticism and hate. Criticism is not hate. Multiple people agreeing on criticisms is not bullying or ganging up on anyone. And to the people who no longer support DissociaDID, we have to remember how we once felt about DissociaDID. And some people aren't going to be ready to digest all of the criticism. So everybody's entitled to their opinions, whether we agree or not. As always, no bullying or hate sent to anybody mentioned in this video. And let's get into it. Facts and update, DissociaDID Draws. We're so happy to see so many people as excited as we are to partake in DissociaDID Draws. We've listened to your feedback, and here are the decisions we've made after talking to you yesterday. Our original goal was to do something special with our patrons as a way of thanking them for the amazing generosity and support they have shown us all this time, especially during break. However, since new people have been joining our Patreon for the sake of taking this challenge, we want this to be as accessible and transparent as possible for everyone. Prompts. We will be posting the weekly prompts from our Patreon vote on the YouTube community page. This means if you want to make art from the prompts, you can share in the inspiration. However, any art posted outside of our Patreon will not be an official entry and will not be considered for voting, prize merch for the charity fund, or the video. If you post your art on other social medias, we also cannot help you with what feedback you will receive on your art. We suggest tagging it with hashtag DissociaDIDDraws, but be advised that we won't be monitoring this hashtag, nor can we ensure that any content posted under it abides by the challenge's rules. Therefore, please exercise caution when checking the hashtag across social media. Additionally, we don't use any social platforms other than YouTube and Patreon. We won't be able to see any art that's posted on other sites. We had already considered opening the challenge to the entire community and having everyone post their art on their socials using the hashtag. We initially decided against it due to the potential misuse of the hashtag for unsafe content that we have no control over. By holding the event on Patreon, we hope to ensure the safety of those participating by moderating posts, being sure that all entries are adequately trigger-warned, and that all comments and art abide by the rules in a safe and closed community. However, we won't be making any profit from this event, which we covered in more detail below. Donation to charity. All new pledges we receive from DissociaDID Draws for October will be donated to the charity our patrons choose, along with the sales from the winning merch. If you have chosen to pledge for a full year rather than 1 month, we will still donate your entire annual pledge to charity. Art will only be used for charity merch with the express permission of the artist to use their art for this purpose. Artists retain all rights and ownership of their art, of course, and are free to use it elsewhere. In the month following the event, we will post receipts of the new patron pledges for DissociaDID Draws, including any annual pledges, and the donation of this amount to the chosen charity, as well as all sale profits for the charity merch. We won't be making any extra income from this event. We simply want to do something nice with everyone and support an important charity in these difficult times. Finally, we have also decided to share some of the final art we make on the YouTube community page for those who would like to see it. We can't wait to see what you create for this event. We're excited to make some art with you. See you on the 1st of October for the first set of prompts. Stay safe, and all our love, DissociaDID. So after receiving all the backlash and people wondering, why do we have to essentially pay in order to give to a charity? We have to pay you to get to join your patron, and then you get to keep all that money, but the only thing going to charity was going to be the sales from the merch. So now she's switched it to all patron donations for the month of October, important point there, are going to charity, including any annual pledges that come in for the month of October. So the full price of the year subscription to Patreon. However, we still have to consider the fact that Patreon is a subscription service, and that's what subscription services bank on, is the fact that it's rollover. Like, it'll come directly out of your bank account the next month if you don't remember to cancel it right away. So if you've pledged just for the month of October because, you know, you really want to do this DissociaDID Draws thing for whatever reason, then you forget to cancel it for the following month, or even months and months after that. Lots of people do forget. In fact, there's testimony of patrons that forgot they were on DissociaDID's Patreon. I think I actually have a clip of that in one of my videos. So she's still going to be getting all the volume of people that have come in just for this challenge who don't decide to leave or don't remember to cancel their subscription. So she's still making money, and again, this is still about her bottom line. This is still a way of bringing in money, viewers, and attention. She says, however, we won't be making any profit from this event. But she doesn't say, we won't be making any profit now, or we've changed it so that now we won't be making any profit. All the profits we were going to see is now going to go to a charity. Now, she just says we won't be making any profit from this event. It's almost like she's acting like that's how it was all along. But it's not. That's not how it was all along. It makes it seem like, wait, you guys, you got it wrong. We won't be making any profit from this event. It's just completely disingenuous. She was going to be making a profit. I feel like if you accidentally somehow left out that all of it was going to charity, you would have clarified by saying, you know, I didn't make this clear in my last post, but all the patron tiers will be going to charity. She doesn't do that. When profit is the driving motive for starting a charity,
it feels like you're going crazy.
It's great that the changes have been made and that now everything is going to charity, which seems like common sense and how it should have been all along. She actually needed all the backlash and needed the public to tell her how wrong what she was doing was before she realized that the charity was more important than her bank account.
Imagine that.
Our lowest tier is $1. You can see our art and participate in the event on that tier, as well as vote. We wanted to keep it as accessible as possible. However, since new people have been joining our Patreon for the sake of taking this challenge, we want this to be as accessible and transparent as possible for everyone. I don't think hiding the number of patrons that you have is very transparent. She made that private so that no one could see how many patrons she has. Thus, we can't see how many patrons she's gained just from this. Whenever her fans would say, well, she's not on YouTube, she's not making any money, she needs to do this, people would look into it and say, well, hey, if at a minimum with these patrons, if they all only paid $1, she'd be making this much per month. And definitely there are way more people above the $1 tier, so she'd obviously be making a whole lot more than the minimum. So because people were starting to realize that she was making a lot of money and calculating how much she could be making at a minimum, she set it so that you can't see how many patrons she has. So you can't see it and even say, oh, she has 2,000 patrons, so at least $2,000 a month, not counting the really big donors with the Skype calls for $300, Kick It with Kyle, Sweeter Than Sally, and so on. Unfortunately, it's hard to take what she says at face value. At this point, it's hard to just take her word for it and accept that she'll follow through, just because of the pattern of behavior that we've seen. And it continues. It's not just past behavior, it's still to this day. One user says, at DissociaDID, why is Team Pinata still posting drawings as being in a relationship with your system? DissociaDID says, to our knowledge, they aren't. The user replies, they were as recently as July/August, which is way after all of the information came out. DissociaDID replies, things can become extremely complex when more than one couple is involved in a romantic relationship between two systems. It's been a difficult journey, which has eventually resulted in our systems no longer being together. Going forward, we feel it is no longer appropriate for us to discuss our private life on a public platform. We believe this is the best decision for our channel and our personal safety and well-being. The user replies, absolutely, you're completely in charge of what you choose to share of your private life, but this isn't a case of people prying and being nosy. Up until recently, your system has publicly supported even after you denounced them on social media. Was that even real? You must be able to understand people will have many questions and have been directly affected by what has come out and your involvement in it. I understand it might be hard to talk about, but this is someone you have endorsed on your channel and continued to support behind the scenes. This is about you and your system as much as it is your relationship. Kindred Spirit says, on behalf of the community they estranged, we hope they're doing well. But no, we still won't be by their side until they acknowledge their wrongdoings and stop deleting anything that isn't immediate positivity. Another user said, at Kindred Spirits, I think they have a right to delete any triggering or upsetting content they want to. They don't owe people who don't like them anything. Kindred Spirits replies, please own up to your actions. I'm sure that was just so hard for them to read. They delete anything that isn't, oh wow, I love you. That's not deleting negativity. That's deleting anything that doesn't stroke their ego. I'm sorry they gaslit you and others into believing otherwise. DissociaDID responded, We're not sure what you'd like us to address, but we have responded to several questions about the events of the last few months on our previous community post. Nevertheless, we value those who respectfully ask questions, request clarification on what they find an issue with, and engage in constructive dialogue. There are plenty of criticisms easily visible in our comments, yours included, and we do value them very much. They help us improve and do better next time. What we can't do is allow vitriol, bullying, harassment, spam, or gossip, and speculation about our private life or those of others in our comment section. We want our platform to be an open, friendly, inclusive, and safe space for all. What we also can't do is take responsibility or apologize for things we haven't done. Nor do we have any wish to air others' dirty laundry in public to respond to untrue accusations. That simply doesn't align with our morals. She says there are plenty of comments and criticisms easily visible in our comments, including yours, and that she values them very much. Well, almost every criticism is deleted. She's left up about 4 or 5 just so that she can show that, oh, look, I do take criticism and I answer them too. But really, it's just the couple that she left off to save face. More of it is talking about what she can't do than what she's going to or should do. She also says what we can't do is take responsibility or apologize for things we haven't done. And she says she doesn't want to respond to untrue accusations. Okay, but if you don't address the untrue accusations, we don't know which ones you're claiming are untrue, because if you told us, then you wouldn't have to apologize for them. But not discussing any of them? Is she saying that all of them are untrue? Anytime it comes up, people are going to have questions. This is going to linger over her head. It's going to make it harder on herself by not addressing everything. If she just addressed everything, it would calm down, there wouldn't be so many people asking questions and being confused. It would be easier. It's just so much easier to be upfront and honest than to have to be deleting constantly and leaving vague insinuations and open-ended statements that give us no clarification whatsoever. So DissociaDID has released her first DissociaDID Draws piece. She posted on her community tab on YouTube. She says, "Here's our first piece for DissociaDID Draws, for those of you who asked if we could share what we create on YouTube. DissociaDID Draws Day 2. Listen to music and draw. Trigger warning. Mild blood. Color scheme. Reds, pinks, warm neutrals. Nin and Mara painted this together. The song is called Between My Teeth by Orla Garland, who writes her own songs and often covers topics like mental health in her music. The message behind what we made for this prompt is to be careful with your words. They can break hearts." Here's what DissociaDID posted. Now, I just want to say that this is a beautiful piece of work. With that being said, there's a lot of controversy around what she's painted. People are saying that she's trying to tell her audience that anybody that speaks ill of her or criticizes her are breaking her heart, and that this is kind of a subliminal message to all the DID YouTubers that spoke out against her, who haven't received an apology, and for whom she won't answer any questions or address. But this post does seem to address that in a way. This is what Axolotls in a Trench Coat posted on Reddit. My opinion is that they want to stir drama again with those that have spoken already about their experience with them. Specifically, our close friendship circle of Multiplicity and me, Bo, Entropy, Fragmented Psyche, and ourselves, Axolotls, in the hope that us still being mad, while me and her subs will be like, "Stop bullying Nin, she says you're lying, so I believe her." We have all said what we needed to say and are trying to move on and seek our own closure, as none of us have received an apology. And her posting stuff like this just feels like she wants to ruffle feathers even more than she already has. Entropy is off YouTube. Bo is afraid to post most of the time still because of Kiwi Farms. Multiplicity and me have had separate stuff in their personal life happening, but are still doing projects. Fragmented Psyche do most content on TikTok, and we have barely been posting on YouTube since this went down and privated a heap of content. These are the impacts on us sharing our experiences with the disorder because they refuse to admit to their followers they could be at fault here. So we are all the bad guys for calling them out on their behavior. I have a lot of thoughts on what this painting really means and the caption that she used. Be careful with your words, they can break hearts. But mainly, I agree with Axolotls in a Trench Coat. I feel like it's her way of stirring up drama, even though she doesn't want other people stirring drama when it comes to her. But she's pushing people's buttons in a really passive-aggressive fashion. I think it's also meant to be a message for her fans and supporters about the other DID YouTubers by insinuating that they've wronged her in some way. I also feel like she's putting it out there so that people will begin to think she's too fragile for any criticism, so that people like me, who are speaking up and pointing out some of the issues that other people are sweeping under the rug, we're all going to get a bunch of hate, or more than usual, because now people are going to think, well, your words are hurting her. You're causing her anguish and distress. And it's kind of an invitation for her fans to go after people that speak out against her or address the issues. As Entropy System said, it's emotional manipulation, and that's really not okay. It's another way to try to silence people, and another way for her to direct her fans away from anybody addressing any concerns. It's not going to stop me. It never has. Clearly, you're watching this video now. I'm going to leave you guys with a word from Axolotls in a Trench Coat that I think is an important message and worded very beautifully. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.
To have them be accountable, to be genuinely accountable for their actions, and to realize the implications that what they have done, like of what they have done, and how that has affected others within the mental health community and people that are viewing their content that aren't in the mental health community but are taking it as an educational source. No one wanted them to leave the community. It's always been about accountability. And I know that initially we had the attitude as well that the whole community is just burned down, but it hasn't. it's a negative outlook. I'm entitled to have that outlook, but there's so much more to the community, and that's something that we've realised and that many others have realised, is that there's so much more to the community than just DissociaDID.